Welcome back, everybody, to the Cleveland Guardians franchise here on MLB The Show 22. Last episode, we had our very first draft of the series. I'll leave a card for that at the top right of your screen in case you missed that episode and would like to check it out. But long story short, we hit an absolute grand slam, no pun intended, particularly with our first two picks. In the first round, we selected outfielder Zane Rowley from the Netherlands. He's 18 years old, switch hitter, 65 overall with 93 potential. And then in the second round, we got a complete steal with second baseman Ramon Ramiro, 18 years old, 67 overall with 90 potential. Our final four picks, we only got starting pitchers. We really needed a pitching overhaul in our farm system, and I think Watkins, Villalobos, Worth, and Perez will all certainly help us there. So after our fantastic draft, we return back to the big league club, and we're going to get through a large portion of June today. I wanted to pick out two pretty fun games for this episode, so I decided we would play one against the Rangers and also play one at Dodger Stadium against the Dodgers. Are we probably going to get killed in that game? Yeah, but I think it'd still be fun. So before we get started, there are a couple small things I want to go over real quick. I have gotten some questions about possibly raising Steven KWAN's ratings because he has been an absolute machine in real life so far. Normally, I would never do this. However, I feel like we're early enough in the series to where it's fine and it's not going to be that big of a deal. KWAN was playing well in spring training before we started the series anyway, and he's been playing well for us here, hitting 400, albeit in only 15 at-bats. So we ended up raising his rating a little bit from a 62 to a 65. I gave him plus 8 contact, plus 5 power, plus 9 vision, and plus 9 discipline. I really wanted to focus on the vision and discipline because that's where he's been really good this year. He's drawing a ton of walks and he hasn't striking out yet. So those were the two things I really wanted to focus on with him. So again, not that big of a deal. I've also gotten some questions about upping Trevor Stephan a little bit because he was a little bit disrespected by the game, only being a 64 overall with D potential. I figured if he would play well this season, I would increase him, and he has been with an ERA at 3.28. So instead of increasing his rating, I upped his potential. It was originally a 66, I moved it to a 74. So his potential goes up 8. Again, not something that's totally going to impact the long-term outlook of this series, but a small addition to get Stephan to be a little bit better because, again, I think the game did kind of disrespect him. So we're certainly in an interesting spot here entering the month of June because May was not a good month for us. We started the year off pretty well. We were over 500 going into May, and then particularly towards the end of the month, we really fell off. So we have to start this month of June off well, or else this season could go in the gutter by the time we reach the All-Star break, and we really don't want that to happen because I think this team can possibly compete for a wild card spot if all goes well. We would end up sweeping the Baltimore Orioles in that first June series, and I get it's the Orioles and they're not that good, but that's a big-time sweep. We allowed 2 runs in those 3 games combined, which is a big deal because just 2 weeks ago, we had a stretch in which we allowed 35 runs in a 3-game stretch. So it's great to see the team playing well. This is the exact start to the month of June we needed, particularly from the pitching, because our rotation has certainly had their good moments and their bad moments this season. So far, all 4 of our top starters have had good starts to open up June, and hopefully Tristan McKenzie can here today against the 24-36 Rangers, led by the big free agent signings of Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. Seager has been fantastic. Semien's been average for the most part. The rest of their lineup is quite piss poor, so hopefully the Slim Reaper can have a nice day against them. Tristan McKenzie has not had the breakout season that we have been hoping for with an ERA at 5.33 and a whip at about 1.6. Hopefully he can play well here today and start his month of June on track to hopefully be a sign of things to come here for the rest of this season for him. Nathaniel Lowe leads things off, gets that one past the diving glove of Andres Jimenez for a single into center field. So a quick start there for Lowe, and the Rangers already have a runner aboard. That'll bring up Corey Seager, grounds it to Jimenez, flips it to Miles Straw, over to Bradley for the double play. Yes, Miles Straw is playing shortstop today. Ahmed Rosario's getting the day off because he's been really slumping as of recent. And, well, Straw happens to be able to play shortstop as he draws a walk here against the starting pitcher, Dane Dunning, who's had a fine season for Texas. He has an ERA at about 4 and an average whip as well. That'll bring up Steven KWAN, who grounds this one to second. Texas looking to turn the double play, and they do. It's a 4-6-3 double play. Good work from the Rangers infield to get a pair of outs. as that'll bring up the superstar third baseman, Jose Ramirez, who's having another great season. He draws a walk on the low sinker, so J-Ram is aboard. And now the Guardians have another base runner, as that'll bring up Franmil Reyes, who swings and misses at the slider early. Dane Dunning has 5 pitches, but he doesn't have a fastball. He's a very unique pitcher in that sense, so he doesn't throw overly hard. So his slow pitching style has sort of thrown us off a little bit. Here in the second inning, Tristan McKenzie retires the side with no issue, finished off by a strikeout against Brad Miller, who's hitting about 150 for the Rangers this year. Good inning for McKenzie. We move to the bottom of the second, where it'll be Josh Naylor who leads things off, singles it into right field. That'll be Cleveland's first base hit of the day. They've caught a couple base runners with walks, but no base knocks until that one. Bobby Bradley strikes out looking. That pitch was definitely not a strike, but I guess Angel Hernandez behind the dish says otherwise. That'll send Oscar Mercado up to the plate. Grounds this one to short. Seager tags the bag, gets it to first, and the Rangers turn the double play, their second of the ballgame. Good defense there from Texas. No score here through 2. As we advance to the third inning, Cole Calhoun looking to get things started here for Texas as he draws a walk on the outside fastball. So Calhoun is aboard. That'll bring up Eli White. He also draws a walk. Not ideal to walk 2 sub-200 hitters at the back end of this lineup. That'll bring up Nathaniel Lowe. Gets that one past the diving glove of Jose Ramirez for a base hit. Runner headed home. That's Calhoun, who scores standing up. The RBI single from Lowe will put Texas ahead 1-0 as we have our first points of the day. That'll bring up Andy Ibanez, who strikes out on the fastball. Good pitch there by Tristan McKenzie. And now that'll bring up Corey Seager, who has a big opportunity to break the game wide open, and he swings and misses with a 12-6 curve. Tristan McKenzie gets out of the jam with a pair of strikeouts. He's fired up going back to the dugout. Still not a great inning from McKenzie, but he finished it off strong. Now we move to the bottom of the third. 2 outs for Miles Straw. He singles in into right. So far, the Guardians' offense has done pretty much nothing today, so we'll see what they can do here with this little 2-out rally. That'll bring up Stephen KWAN up to the plate. He hits this one into center field. Is it going to drop? It will. So KWAN is aboard. And now the Guardians have 2 runners on here for the meat and potatoes of the order. And that starts with Jose Ramirez, who's done very well with runners on base this year. Lines it into right center field, and that ball is gone. Sneaks over the fence for Jose Ramirez. And the Guardians are on the board as they now lead 3-1. The Guardians do not have a good history with 3-1 leads, so hopefully this one will stand intact. That ball did not look like a home run off of Jose Ramirez's bat. It looked like a line drive that was probably going to go off the wall, but it had enough carry to go over the fence with an exit velo of nearly 110. So the Guardians are now on top 3-1. We move to the fourth inning now. Marcus Semien, with nobody out, grounds it to short. Miles Straw misfires on the throw. That'll be an error against Straw. This is his first time playing shortstop this year, so he's not going to be great there. But again, that is one of his secondary positions, so I think he'll be able to get used to it in due time. The error does not matter as Cleveland turns a double play on the very next play. So good work there by McKenzie and the infield as that'll bring up Brad Miller. He strikes out on a nasty 12-6 curve, pretty much falling down at his feet. 4 really strong innings from Tristan McKenzie. He's had a pretty good outing as we move to the bottom of the inning where Josh Naylor gets plunked on the kneecap. So Naylor opens up the inning on base, but he's not really getting anywhere. With 2 away, Jimenez grounds it to short. Seager flips it over to Semien. And the $500 million middle infield that Texas bought this offseason is able to get through the inning with no issues. Still 3-1 as we move now into the 5th inning. 1 out here for Cole Calhoun, who goes oppo taco into left field. That one is gone, and the Rangers cut the lead in half as it's now 3-2. I still feel like Tristan McKenzie's pitching well today, but with his pitch count nearing about 80, the Guardians decided to pull him a little bit early with Trevor Stephan entering the game in his place. Stephan again has had a really good season, 3.28 ERA, got his well-deserved potential boost as he looks to keep it rolling today, striking out Eli White, who goes down early on the splitter. Stephan would get through the rest of the order with no problem, and we move to the bottom of the 5th. 2 away here for Stephen KWAN. He lines this one nicely into center field. That one looks like it'll drop for extra bases. A second base hit for Stephen. Hit the KWAN. A double for KWAN, and now Cleveland is a runner in scoring position. That'll bring up Jose Ramirez, who weakly grounds this one to second. Simeon flips it over to first. Texas gets through the inning with no problem, as that'll likely end Dane Dunning's day. Overall, Dunning pitched pretty well. 5 innings, 3 earned runs. The Guardians make another pitching change of their own as Nick Sandelin checks in for Stephan. Sub-3 ERA, having a very strong season. His first batter is Marcus Semien. Gets that one between the first and second baseman for a single into right field. So Texas gets one of their fastest base runners on board with nobody out and a big opportunity to look to tie or take the lead. That'll bring up the catcher, Mitch Garver. Strikes out on the slider. Nice pitch there on the outside corner of the strike zone by Sandelin. And then 2 away here for Adolis Garcia. He strikes out in the low off-speed pitch. Good inning there from Sandelin. Cleveland remains on top 3-2. The lefty, Colby Allard, is in for Texas here in the bottom of the 6th. Once a very good prospect in this organization, and Allard really has just never figured it out. This year, no different, as he has an ERA in the 11s, allowing pretty much a .450 batting average against lefties. Josh Naylor, however, goes down looking on the low fastball. That pitch didn't really look like a strike, but whatever. That'll bring up Bobby Bradley to the plate, and he goes down looking on the fastball as well. So the 2 lefties who Allard faces don't even swing the bat, albeit those were both really good pitches and not so much a bad decision by the offensive players to not swing. Good strikeout to open up the 7th there by Nick Sandelin. He would go 2 innings strong and not allowing any runs. We move to the bottom of the 7th. The former starter, Garrett Richards, is in for Texas. With 1 away, he faces off against Austin Hedges, who strikes out on the high fastball. And both of these offenses are just ice cold. Overall, neither team has hit the ball well today, and that has certainly been apparent these past couple of innings. Here is Miles Straw looking to bloop this one into right center, and it will drop. Hey, a base hit. We have not seen a lot of those these past couple of innings. So Cleveland has the speedster aboard for the man, the myth, the machine, Stephen KWAN. Up to bat. 2-2 pitch. He goes down on the low fastball. That pitch definitely was in the zone. He should have taken a crack at it, but instead looks at it frustratingly, going back to the bench as the score remains 3-2 into the 8th inning. James Karinchak is in for Cleveland. He's been pretty mediocre this year. Not bad, but not good either. Andy Ibanez opens up the inning with a single into 7er. Not ideal, because with Seager and Simeon as the next 2 due up, who knows? The Texas Rangers have a great opportunity to get back in the game. Well, those 2 batters would be retired. Simeon strikes out on the 2-seamer and is pissed at himself. That'll bring up Mitch Garver. Goes down as well on the 2-seamer. Good inning for James Karinchak, striking out the final 2 batters. We move to the bottom of the 8th as the game still is 3-2. Brent Martin is in for Texas. He's had a very good season with an ERA at 2.35. His first batter, Jose Ramirez, who hits this one nicely into right center field, and it is going to drop in front of a wall for what looks like a double. Ramirez's second base hit of the day. He is responsible for all 3 of Cleveland's runs with that homer back in the 3rd inning. Ramirez now at 3rd, 1 away here for Josh Naylor, who rips it into right center field. That one should be an extra base hit as Jose Ramirez scores with no problem. An RBI double for Josh Naylor, and the Cleveland Guardians add some insurance to their lead as it's now 4-2. Mercado now on the 3-1 pitch, hits it high and deep into right field, but it is caught. Good inning, though, for the Guardians. They add another insurance run, but I don't know if they're going to need an insurance run because Emmanuel Clase is really, really good, and the Texas Rangers didn't realize that because they had him in their organization, traded him to Cleveland a couple years ago in the Corey Kluber trade as pretty much a throw-in in that deal, but he's been the biggest piece of that trade as he strikes out Adolis Garcia. Now with 2 away, it's Cole Calhoun. The game comes down to him, grounds it perfectly into the shift. Ramirez makes the play, and the Cleveland Guardians start the month of June off 5-0. All 5 starters get victories here in their first games of the month. Tristan McKenzie technically got the no decision today, but I thought he pitched quite well. The bullpen as well was outstanding too. Overall, a great victory here for the Guardians to go back up to 500, now with a record of 30-30. This is just the start to the month we needed, and although our offense did not play all that well today, our pitching was great. Other than Nate Lowe, who had 3 hits, the rest of the Rangers team as a whole had 3 hits. Our offense did not play all that great. Other than Straw, KWAN, Ramirez, and Naylor, nobody else had a base hit. Our batters 6 through 9, Bradley, Mercado, Jimenez, and Hedges all did not reach base once, and we still won, which is remarkable. All 5 of our starting pitchers have had a lot of ups and downs so far early in this season, but they all had quality starts to open up the month, and we're in a good spot because our next 9 games are all against teams under 500. We have 2 more games against Texas, 4 games at home against the Oakland Athletics, and 3 games on the road against the Colorado Rockies, who have one of the worst records in baseball. So we should absolutely do well in this stretch of 9 games, and we did not. We ended up sweeping Texas, which is good, but we went 2-5 after that, only taking 1 of 4 against Oakland and only taking 1 of 3 against Colorado. We're only 1 game under 500 now, but still, I feel like we could have done a lot better in that stretch. So now we have our 3 games at Dodger Stadium. I really wanted to pitch with Shane Bieber against the Dodgers. I thought that'd be a lot of fun. So we're going to play this second game of the series. We would lose the first one to Trevor Bauer, as they would beat us 7-2. I guess Bauer finally gets revenge for Cleveland trading him after he threw the ball into the Kansas City seats a number of years ago. So before we get to this game, I do just have one quick thing to share real quick. Stephen KWAN is really good at baseball. In 53 at-bats, he is hitting .491. That is unbelievable. So just like in real life, Stephen KWAN is taking the major leagues by storm. This was an unexpected development, not just in real life, but in this series. So now we head to the second game here at Dodger Stadium. Obviously, Stephen KWAN in the lineup. He's pretty much an everyday player now at this point with how he's been performing. Here is Dustin May. He is the 5th starter in this Dodgers rotation, but he is a sub-3 ERA. He'd be like a number 2 starter pretty much everywhere else, which just goes to show how good this Dodgers team is. They are an absolute super team, and their record suggests it. The talent has come together early this season for the Dodgers, so it's going to be a challenge for us to win this game, but I suppose that's a good start. A nice single into center field for Ahmed Rosario to open up the ball game. That'll bring up Jose Ramirez, who gets a nice opportunity to play under the bright lights of Los Angeles. He singles it into right. So the Guardians open up the game with a pair of base hits and a great opportunity here to score early. With 2 away, that'll bring up the first baseman, Bobby Bradley, up to bat. And he nearly gets plunked on the slurve. May really going inside. Bradley not too pleased. Let's go a couple pitches later now. And again, an inside pitch right at Bradley. It's a wild pitch, so both runners advance. If I'm Bobby Bradley, I've got to be pissed off right now. Dustin May has thrown inside twice. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not. Do these two have like a hidden beef or something? I was really hoping Bobby Bradley was going to go yard and do like a sick bat flip. That would have been cool. But instead he flies out to center, so the Guardians leave 2 runners in scoring position. If Cleveland wants to win this game, you can't leave 2 runners on that early. So here is Shane Bieber, one of the best pitchers in baseball, facing off against the best lineup in baseball. And although Bieber's had a rocky season, he has not pitched like an ace. He has been a lot better the past month or so, really cleaning up some of his early season woes. Leading off the game is Trey Turner, who, despite being on the Dodgers, is somehow still underrated. He is one of the best players in baseball. Singles it into right center, so one of the fastest players in the game is on base with nobody out. Not particularly ideal. It's also not ideal when the very next batter is Mookie Betts, who lines this one into the left center gap. Trey Turner is going to have no problem scoring. The RBI double for Mookie will put the Dodgers ahead early, 1-0. Not a particularly good start here for Cleveland at all. Let's go a couple batters later. Now it's Will Smith. He singles it into right. Mookie Betts scores. Stephen KWAN bobbles it. And the Dodgers now lead 2-0. This might be a really long day. So just be prepared. Who knows? This game could get a little bit ugly. That'll bring up Justin Turner. Swinging a miss. Smith headed for second. Not even close. Austin Hedges behind the dish. Guns him down. Great play there by Hedges. I don't know why Will Smith even stole there in the first place. He's a catcher. He's not like some speed demon. A.J. Pollock strikes out on the cutter. Good end of the inning for Bieber, but not a particularly good start here for Cleveland as they allow 2 runs there in the bottom of the first and trail 2-0. Here's Miles Straw opening up the second inning with a bloop hit into left. Normally, we would keep Straw at first, but when you're playing the Dodgers, you got to go balls to the wall. So we're going to send Straw to second, and it pays off. That'll be a no-out double for Miles Straw, and the speedster is aboard with nobody out and a great opportunity to score. One away here for Austin Hedges. 2-1 count. Straw still at second as this one is going to be popped into shallow right field. Should be caught easily by Mookie Betts. Again, maybe we don't tag up if we're playing anybody else, but you got to be aggressive against the Dodgers. And this time being aggressive would backfire as it's a double play. Mookie Betts guns him down, and we go to the bottom of the second. Kevin Pillar is up with 2 away. Flies it softly into right, caught by KWAN. So a much better inning there for Shane Bieber. Very uneventful second inning for the most part as the Dodgers are still on top 2-0. Ernie Clement is getting the start today instead of Andres Gimenez, who has struggled so far in the month of June. And Clement singles it into center. Clement has not played great this year with his batting average hovering around the Mendoza line, but with Gimenez and Yu Chang really struggling at the moment, hopefully he can produce some quality games here and there. That'll bring up Stephen Kwan now up to plate. He draws a walk. So now Cleveland has 2 runners aboard and a big opportunity again for the meat of this lineup. And that starts with Jose Ramirez, who already has a base hit today, looking for another one. Count is full. Pitch from May. That one goes to the outside, but they call it a strike. That looked like a clear walk for Jose Ramirez, who had some choice words there for the umpire. That is not a strike at all. But when you're playing against the Dodgers, their pitchers are going to have a bigger strike zone than everybody else. These umpires are obviously going to be generous to LA because they're the big market team. That's how it works. Another strikeout looking on a very questionable call there. That one was a little bit more of a strike, but still debatable. Dustin May gets through the third inning without allowing any runs as it remains 2-0. Shane Bieber has to face off against the top of the order. Struggled there in the first inning, but he does strike out Trey Turner. That'll bring up Mookie Betts, who has driven in and scored a run. He's going to bloop this one into the infield, and he will actually make it to first safely. It's an infield single for Mookie Betts, who starts the game off 2 for 2. And the Dodgers have a base runner aboard here for the man himself, Freddie Freeman, as Betts goes to second. Again, not even close. He is gunned down by Austin Hedges. Part-time ball player, full-time sniper. Hedges has thrown out 2 runners today, and we move into the 4th inning. Miles Straw with his second hit of the game. Good to see Straw hitting the ball well. His average isn't too far off from 300. He's had a quietly pretty good season, even though he has not hit any home runs yet. That'll bring up Josh Naylor, draws a walk. Cleveland has done a really good job of getting base runners today. They've had at least 2 guys on in 3 of the first 4 innings today. It's just a matter of actually driving them in for once. That'll bring up the catcher, Austin Hedges. He draws a walk. Dustin May's command just seems kind of off right now, as the bases are juiced here for the 9-hole hitter, Ernie Clement, who drove in a run in his first at-bat of the game. All Cleveland does not want is a double play, and that's not going to be a double play most likely. Popped into center field. It will be caught. Miles Straw heads home, and Cleveland is successful on the sacrifice fly. That was a good throw from the center fielder, but Miles Straw is safe, and the Guardians are now on the board as it is 2-1. That'll bring up Ahmed Rosario, looking to break this game open here for Cleveland, and he's going to do just that on the outside pitch. Hits it down the right field line and fair. 1 run scores. Another would have scored if Austin Hedges wasn't as slow as my grandmother getting out of bed in the morning. Nonetheless, we are tied at 2, and Cleveland's dugout is fired up. You can tell they want to win this game. That'll give Stephen Kwan a huge opportunity as he grounds it to second. Dodgers field it cleanly. And although the Guardians leave multiple runners in scoring position, again, they do score 2 and have this game tied up. This game once looked like it could have been a blowout after the first inning, but the Guardians are going to make it competitive, especially with how Shane Bieber's been pitching the past couple of innings as he gets Will Smith to go down on the slider. Bieber continuing to find a groove as he finishes the 4th, getting Edwin Rios to go down on the cutter. 3 straight scoreless frames for Shane Bieber, who is in much more of a groove than Dustin May is right now, with May's pitch count sitting at 84. He starts feeding off against Jose Ramirez, who hits it into dead center field. See you later, alligator. A solo home run for Jose Ramirez, and the Cleveland Guardians are winning. I did not expect to say that today. Ramirez with his 18th home run of the season. The Guardians are now ahead 3-2. From there, Dustin May will be taken out of the game. Tyler Anderson, the lefty, will come in his place. It looks like the Dodgers are using their long reliever here, hoping to get 2 or 3 solid innings out of him. His first batter, Franmil Reyes, Lines this one past Justin Turner for a single. So Reyes is aboard here with one away. And although Reyes has not lived up to expectations this season, he has still been adequate. And now he's on base here for Miles Straw, who's 2 for 2 today. Not going to make it 3 for 3. Instead, it's a grounded to short over to second. And the Dodgers turn to 6-4-3 at double play. Still another good inning, though, as Cleveland adds some more runs to the board. They lead 3-2. Bottom 5, Trey Turner gets caught chasing the slider. Nice pitch from Bieber. Another K for him. His pitch count is starting to get higher, but with how he's pitching, I think Cleveland can get another inning out of him as he finishes off the inning, striking out Mookie Betts. 4 scoreless in a row here for Bieber as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Still 3-2. Here's Will Smith, the fresh prince of Los Angeles. He hits it high and deep into center field. Straw back at the track, at the wall. It's gone. Straw almost robbed that one. He timed it about as well as he could have. But nonetheless, the Dodgers tie it at 3. A big home run there for Will Smith, punching balls just like he punches Chris Rock at the Oscars. As we look at that one again, so close. He almost had that one. Bieber remains in the game. That might have been a mistake here with the Justin Turner single. And from there, I think the Guardians realize it might be time to take Bieber out of the game. I think overall, Shane Bieber's pitched pretty well today. I know 3 runs and 5 1/3 innings doesn't look all that good. But he pitched well outside of the beginning and the end. Anthony Gose, the lefty, will come in his place, and he gets through the rest of the inning, no problem. Finished off with a strikeout here against Rios. Not a bad inning, though, for the Dodgers as they tie it up off the home run, and we move to the 7th. Jose Ramirez is up to the plate, 1-1 pitch. This one is popped into foul territory. Should be caught pretty easily by Will Smith. Yikes. That's embarrassing. So now Ramirez gets another opportunity. He decides to play the Bird Box Challenge, swinging at garbage, but Smith casually walks over to it, and Ramirez is safe at first since it was a dropped ball. That was an embarrassing sequence by Will Smith. More embarrassing than his experience at the Oscars a couple of weeks ago. So now Cleveland has a new opportunity as that'll bring up Franmil Reyes. He swings at a totally inside pitch and still gets a base hit. Cleveland is getting all of the breaks right now. They have to capitalize here with the opportunity they've been given by the baseball gods. That'll bring up Bobby Bradley, who grounds it right to short. And Cleveland does not take advantage of this golden opportunity. They get a couple of runners on because of sheer incompetence from the Dodgers or just good luck. But they don't drive anybody in. We move to the bottom of the 7th now. Here is Chris Taylor. Leads meeting off with a single into center field. Cleveland was hoping to get another inning out of Anthony Gose, but it looks like that is not going to be the case. So Gose would be immediately taken out of the game here for James Karinchak, who's had a very rough stretch. His ERA now hovering around 5. Karinchak really played well at the beginning of the season, but the past month or two, he has not been good. His day will not start off particularly good, allowing a single here to Kevin Pillar, who's hitting like 200 on the year. So the Dodgers start the inning off with 2 base runners. This is the opportunity for the top of the order to come up clutch, and that's not going to happen. With 2 away, Freeman flies it into foul territory. It's caught by Stephen Kwan. Through 7 innings, the game remains tied at 3. Shout out to Cleveland for really coming to play today. We'll see if they can pull this off here with 2 innings to go of regulation. As with 1 away, Mercado pops it into foul territory. This time, Will Smith will, in fact, make the catch for the second out of the inning. We move to the bottom of the 8th now. Nick Sandlin is in. He's had a rough month of June with a 3.69. Nice. ERA as he faces off against Will Smith, who's had an eventful day for good and bad. He goes down looking on the 4-seam fastball. Nice pitch there from Sandlin. 2 away now for A.J. Pollock. He swings and misses at the low and inside sinker. Good inning there for Cleveland. Still tied at 3. We move into the 9th inning now. No pitching change for the Dodgers. It's still Tyler Anderson in as he faces off against Stephen Kwan with 2 away. And Kwan crushes it in right center field. Go ball, go! The legend of Stephen Kwan continues as Obi-Wan Kenobi will put the Cleveland Guardians up ahead. Stephen Kwan with a go-ahead home run, his 3rd of the year. The dugout is celebrating like they just won the World Series. And hey, this is probably the closest this team has come to the World Series since 2016. Dave Roberts very frustrated there as Stephen Kwan gets greeted by a ton of handshakes, high fives, and hugs from his teammates as the Guardians now hold the lead 4-3. We got to look at this swing again. One of the biggest home runs of the season. Either this or the Ahmed Rosario Grand Slam against the White Sox a few episodes ago. Certainly a big one here for KWAN, as that'll bring up Jose Ramirez now. High fly ball into right field. This one has a chance, and it is gone! Another multi-home run game for Jose Ramirez, his 19th of the year. And the Cleveland Guardians go back-to-back and now lead this one 5-3. Emmanuel Clase was going to come in the bottom of the ninth regardless if had Cleveland hit those home runs. So now this is a save opportunity here for Clase, who was already warmed up, and he gets to face off against the 7, 8, 9 hitters. He's got to be licking his chops right now. Clase's ERA has gone up since we last pitched with him, but he has still been fantastic this year. Look at the strikeout-to-walk ratio, 21-1. That's insane. He's been the best reliever in baseball this year as he strikes out Chris Taylor on the 98-mile-an-hour cutter. That'll bring up Kevin Pillar, trying to fool him on the outside slider. Not going to happen. Pillar draws a walk, so now the tying run is up to bat here. It's Trey Turner, who lines it to short, caught by Ahmed Rosario, and the Cleveland Guardians pull off the upset. They beat the super team Dodgers by the score of 5-3. This is one of the biggest wins of our season so far. A big series in LA against the Dodgers, where the lights are the brightest, against the best team in baseball and arguably one of the best teams in years. And we won. It was not always perfect, but we had some clutch hitting from KWAN and Jose Ramirez, who went deep twice. The pitching was very solid. I thought Bieber pitched a pretty good game, and the bullpen for us was fantastic. The Dodgers only scored 1 run after the first inning, and Dustin May's command the entire time seemed off. Tyler Anderson pitched pretty well, minus the end of his outing. We're going to simulate the final game here against the Dodgers, and we win 3-0. A shutout from Aaron Civale. It looks like the Dodgers' bats and defense certainly hurt them, despite a good start from Walker Buehler. So that's going to conclude today's episode. Certainly an eventful one for our Guardians to go back up to 500 at 36-36. We're going to get through all of June and early July in the next episode. I think we probably have 2 more episodes until the All-Star break. Keep in mind international free agency, which is where your subscriber-made players, that will be probably not next episode, but the following one. So I think that's when you're going to see that. I hope everybody enjoyed the video here. Make sure to hit the like button and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.